What is up amongst them, crew? I am excited to bring you this video. We didn't catch a whole lot of fish, but every fish we caught was quality. This is gonna be Mermet Lake. It would have been in April of 2023 tournament. And the reason why I'm so excited to bring you this is it's one of my favorite ways to catch fish, and especially big fish, is flipping. I like getting right in there nice and tight. And when you're flipping that big yarn 50, 60 pound test on a heavy action, extra heavy action, you're right in there close, flip it in there, pick it up, and it's spongy, set the hook, and it is no telling what. Every time you set the hook like that, it feels like a 10 pounder. So, I mean, just that anticipation, I can't even express how much I enjoy it. But this whole day, pretty much all we did was flip heavy cover, and I'm gonna go over what I was using, what I suggest using, why we used it, and what minor changes we made to up our success as the day went on. Check it out, come on with me. Set my crankbait rod down, pick up my flipping rod, and very first flip, hook up.
Net?
Yep.
I thought he'd come off when you drop him back down like that. I was trying to stab the net underneath him. I thought he'd come off.
Man, I think he's gonna make it. That was the first drop with that. Oh boy, I hope he didn't get that in a gill.
He's bleeding pretty good. Damn it. Get him back in the water pretty quick.
So shortly after I caught that first one on the very first flip, we had hit all those trees in that little pocket we were in. What didn't produce any more that time around, made a little jog across the lake to this next bunch of cypress trees, and pretty quick I'm hooked up again. I haven't seen anybody go all the way back there where them bedfish were last year.
All the way in the very back.
Yeah.
They may not be able to.
Well, by God, we can.
I didn't say we couldn't.
We can
We'll get out, can boat press this bitch and weight it back there.
Absolutely. I'll get it there.
I'll get down in my goddamn white tube socks and my whitey tighties and stand out there knee deep like this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Prop my leg up on a cypress knee.
Yeah, it can be done. I've seen it.
I've seen me do it.
Oh yeah.
I'll probably still give it a shot.
Well, yeah. But no, absolutely come unglued. That wouldn't have been okay for you though. It is much deeper here. I like this. Oh. Get the net.
Coming around this side. Yeah, buddy. Choked it. I guess that's the ticket. I just need to.
He was right at the base of that tree, just like the other one. We got to hit every.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
Look at here, folks. Look at here. Let's make sure he goes before we get celebrate too much. 17 and a half.
And they gotta be 16, right?
Yeah. I kind of thought he might have been a small one there at first, because I let it drop and I picked it up. I felt pop, pop. I thought, oh, hey.
I got a little one toying with me here. No, I could tell it was a decent fish when you set the hook.
Yeah, I could too. When I set the hook, I thought, this ain't no bluegill here.
I heard that braid singing. I was like, oh, okay.
So I'm gonna go ahead and go over what I'm flipping at this point, because once I hooked in that second one, I pretty well made the decision that I'm probably going to run with that pattern for a pretty good ways. It's produced 2 in a pretty short amount of time, and both of those fish were set up about the same spot. So first of all, when you're flipping a heavy rod, heavy line, you're going to have a hook that's pretty tough. This right here, I don't know if you can, how well you can see that there, but this is a owner jungle flipping hook. And the reason why is if you just have a regular EWG or worm hook, light wire hook, and you set the hook with that heavy setup, you're going to bend that hook out right off the bat. I do not like a hook where the eyelet and the hook point line up. I like to have as big a gap as I can get away with. It just seems like I get a better hookup that way. I don't really like the hooks that have a big barb up here, a keeper. That is plenty right there. Any more than that, I'll show you one here real quick. One like this right here. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike these. These have their place. When you're flipping, when you're punching heavy cover, this right here, a lot of times is just not enough to keep your bait where it needs to be on the hook. Sometimes you have to go with this. But anytime I can get away with this, that's what I'm gonna do. Also, when it comes to weights, I pretty well try and throw tungsten on everything all the time. I've pretty well completely switched from lead. It's night and day difference as far as the feel and the size to weight ratio. And I don't care what I'm doing, whether I'm Carolina rigging, Texas rigging, flipping cover, punching grass, drop shotting, it doesn't matter. I always try and go with the lightest weight I can get away with. And in this case right here, we're not punching through anything, nothing like that. It's not very deep. I could go all the way down to a 1/4 ounce. That's all, that's all I needed to get where I needed to go. 1/4 ounce tungsten, and then when I'm flipping like this, I'm using a peg. I'm pegging it. In this particular case, I was using 65-pound braid, and looking back on it, I would have probably been better off, since we're not flipping in super heavy cover, it's just cypress knees and close to cypress trees. I would have had this basically the same rod and reel setup, but with fluorocarbon, like anywhere from 20 to 25 pound fluorocarbon probably would have been about right. Fluorocarbon does a little bit better around wood. The braid a lot of times will dig into the wood, and that's pretty much what we're flipping here is wood. There is some submerged grass you can't really see, but for the most part it's just wood. So let's press on, and I will go over my rod and reel setup, what I would suggest you use in a situation like this here in just a little bit. Come on, 5-pounder.
Boy, we need them. 4 of them.
Man, can you imagine?
No, I can't.
Sure would be nice to not only have team of the year, but also down in the bottom, biggest bag of the year.
Yeah, if we had 20 pounds wrapped up in 4 fish, slow down!
You don't see that dust getting kicked up?
That corner down there where it rounds, I come around that corner one day, and right here on this flat, these woods right here is all big flat. It used to be, I don't know if it is anymore, it used to be real clear once you got just inside the woods. I come around that corner one day, and there was like 10 toms up here on the levee road, and they were all bowed out like this, fighting over a hen up here in the gravel.
Had to go get in the middle of it, did you?
I used to have
I don't know what that was, but it's big.
I used to have a video of them on my phone, that old indestructible flip phone potato that I used to have.
Yeah, you couldn't even see what was in the video.
No, I had to tell you what you was looking at and then show it to you.
Yeah.
Explain the whole video.
Now what I'm about to show you here is a bunch of turkeys.
8 toms. You won't be able to count them, just take my word for it.
Trust me, there was 8 of them.
You see that big black blotch right there in the center of your screen? That's them.
That's them turkeys I've been telling you about.
And they were like, holy shit, that's a bunch of them.
That's crazy.
Damn, that's crazy.
You weren't lying.
You were not
See?
lying. I ain't ever in my days.
See, I told you.
Never in my
days
have I seen that many turkeys at Mermet. There are some big ones here. The only thing that sucks is you gotta draw for a permit to hunt here.
Unbelievable.
That's the only shitty thing. What is going on? Jesus.
Just about set the hook on some weeds there. I'm gonna swing around the other side of this tree here and then finagle up to this next bunch.
Jesus.
Oh my
Christ.
God. Boy, you messed that up. Oh my God.
See that?
You just froze under pressure and watched it tie a knot.
You can't do that.
Completely froze under the pressure.
And you see what happened, didn't you?
And let it tie a knot.
I got it back too, then I untied that knot.
You just got lucky on that one.
I know nobody at home can do that. That's special talent.
That's the kind of shit you just got to be born with.
Yeah.
You can't teach that.
That ain't taught, I promise you.
Well, folks, we are back at them again. Mermet Lake 2023. We are a little over 2 hours deep into this tournament. We got 2 fish. I'd say they're give or take 3 pounds apiece. Kind of gotten on a little bit of the bites are few and far between, but we're just hitting every one of these cypress trees, these individual cypress trees, and flipping them with a creature bait. And every once in a while you'll run across one. You go to broke one off early, right up against the cypress trees. The fish picked it up and went around the backside of the tree before he realized what was going on and set the hook, line up against the tree, and popped it right off. So with it today, it's all his fault. So yeah, I had to been 12 pounder. But anyway, we're actually making pretty good progress on it being 2 hours deep. I don't expect us to get many bites today. I do expect them to be big bites. So come on with us. Let's see if we can't get 4 more big bites. That's all we need all day long is 4 big bites. Let's go get them. It's pretty shallow right here. Holy shit.
God almighty. Brain panned him, didn't you?
How about that?
That's a first.
Yeah. I have never
Good crappie.
flipped a crappie with braid.
Whack! He's gonna have a headache.
Yeah.
He come up out of the water thinking, I ain't never.
That's a new technique I'm gonna have to start doing. Flipping heavy cover for crappie
Crappies.
on creature baits. But that's a stud. Back in the water he goes. So we've got a tournament at this same lake coming up in 2024. I think it's early April, about the same time this was. And I actually have just bought a new setup specifically for this, and that's what I'm going to talk about right now. So this is a Cast King Centron Light. very inexpensive reel, and it's got an extremely small frame. The big reason why I went with this, two big reasons why I went with this. It's got a fast gear ratio, 7:3 to 1, 7:1 to 1. 7:1 to 1 gear ratio, so that's pretty fast. You want to be able, when you flip, you pick up on that, and if there's fish on there, you want to be able to cover that ground as quickly as possible when you're flipping. A lot of people say you want a low gear ratio for that power. Well, I've never had any issues not having enough power to turn this handle on a fish, no matter how thick the cover is. So I would rather be able to cover the ground and pick up any slack, because a lot of times, I've had this happen a lot of time, you'll flip it in there, he'll grab it on the initial fall, and when you pick up, he ran towards you, like under the boat. So it's more important to me to be able to catch up to him, set the hook, than not be able to catch up to him, maybe not get a good hook set, and not, you know, you won't, and be able to power him in. Well, I'm not worried about powering him in. I got a 7.5 foot extra heavy. I'll get him in there. So I'm going to go for the fast gear ratio. Also, this super small frame, whenever you're flipping all day, it doesn't fatigue your wrist or anything like that. And along with this super small frame, it actually has a pretty small capacity reel, and when you're or spool, and when you're flipping, that's completely fine. I mean, the most line I'm going to have out is 10 yards. I mean, I'm not going to have much out at all. And let's just say you're flipping and you mess up and you hook the edge of your boat. You don't have much line on there to get backlashed, so it makes it quicker to get that backlash out, or you hit a tree, whatever it may be. You don't need much line. And big fluorocarbon is what I suggest going to on this wood. So 20 to 25 pound test fluorocarbon on this small capacity spool, you're looking at probably only getting 50, 60 yards on here. That's ideal to me. When you're flipping close quarters like that, that's that much less to handle when it comes to backlashing. I will post the link to this in the description below. I highly recommend a reel just like this, especially if you're on a budget. This right here is where it's at for this kind of setup right here. The rod that I chose was a 7'5", 13 fishing Fate V3. This is a 7'5" heavy, not an extra heavy, a heavy. The longer, I feel like the longer that you go, the less heavy rod you can go with. So if this was just a 7 foot, I would probably go with an extra heavy, but that extra 5 inches, 7'5", I'm going with just a heavy. Because I have so much more length to work with, I don't have to force it when it comes to that extra heavy action. I will post the link to this also in the description, and also the line that I suggest running. I always try and run Sunline. For the longest time, I tried to go cheap online, and when you buy cheap line, you get cheap line. Do not spare any expense online. If you have a certain brand that you're comfortable with, that's fine. Stick with that, but I'm telling you, do not go cheap online. That is your lifeline between you and that fish. The most important aspect of any setup is the line.
That's the flip.
Right here, I want you to really pay close attention to where Dakota makes his flip. Not even which tree it is, but exactly where at on that tree. Pay close attention to all the details. wind direction, how he presents that in there, everything, because that situation is going to pop up later in the day. And when we get there, I'll bring it up again and remind you and tell you why that's so important and what to look for in this situation.
Good. Flip him.
like
You got
we
braid,
got.
don't you?
Huh?
You got braid. Flip him in here.
I'm going to.
That'll do. Hell yeah, boy.
Choked it. Maybe them are 10-pound largemouth out there.
I'd say that's what that is. What's going on here? Man, I don't know what they're doing out there, but they're fired up.
So Dakota caught that last fish on this tree, and I hope you paid attention exactly where he flipped on it. Wind direction, angle of the flip, everything. The reason I wanted you to watch that is because we had made a full rotation around all these cypress trees again, and this is about, an hour later, maybe more, and we're back to this same tree. I'm about to make this very same flip when I catch this next fish. The importance behind that is when you catch a better than average fish, you need to seriously take a mental note on that, because most of the time, especially if you catch it around cover, most of the time it's not just a random event. That fish is there for a reason. He's probably got, there's probably an awesome spot for him to set up an ambush. And when one fish moves out, it's pretty likely that another one will move in there. That's why a lot of times you hear, don't leave fish to find fish, because there's a reason why that better than average fish is there, is because it's an extremely effective ambush point, and a lot of times those places will reload.
Net.
Oh yeah.
I got you right here.
I'll flip him. I'll flip him.
Atta baby. That's what I'm talking about.
He'll go.
That's the second one off that tree.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about.
Pretty sure he'll go. That's the shortest one we've caught, I think. Man, I thought that was a monster when
Boy,
I
I
set the
fucking
hook.
hope he will.
Come on. Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Almost 17.
There you go. Get in there and beat the hell out of the rest of them.
That's what I'm talking about. We've only hit this tree one time. That was first thing this morning. I think this was the first tree we hit, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Didn't give you a heads up or nothing.
God damn.
Your heads up. What do you think about that?
That was some Matrix shit. I could just feel it coming.
I turned around. I went like this and turned and followed it, and you were doing the exact opposite of what I was doing.
We might ought to save that.
Maybe you can put that in slow-mo, find the bait and just follow it by.
And do the Matrix.
I guess now would be a good time to discuss what bait I prefer to flip, what I was flipping in this case and what I prefer to flip. Early on in the day, I don't have the right color. Yeah, I do. So I was throwing a full-size missile D-bomb, which is this right here, a 4-inch. But I was throwing it in this color. This is, I believe it's called Desert Storm is the color of it. But this is the baby. I was throwing the full size in this color is what I started with. The cloud cover in the beginning of the day wasn't quite as thick, so I was throwing that more natural color Had plenty of light penetration. The water's a little stained, but it's not too bad. As the day goes on, actually right after I catch this crappie, I switched to a black and blue missile D-bomb. Water's a little bit stained. Light penetration has gone way down. So I want something they're going to be able to see a little bit better. And actually, once I switched to that black and blue, the bites started coming more regularly. So I think that was a key element in that change. I'll also post the link in the description to missile D-bombs, which happens to be my favorite flipping bait of all time.
Have the goddamn boat about to capsize. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I got him. Flip him.
He'll
That's
go.
what I'm talking about, baby.
What would Ric Flair say right now, folks? Woo! Boy, he's gonna be close, honestly. He's a long boy, so. Oh man, please go. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if we can make it happen. I don't think we can make that happen. Let me. Oof. So we're about an eighth that way. Let's try him this way. I've seen pros do this and it works sometimes. Look at that.
He's touching. You want me to take a picture here?
Yeah. Take a video.
Okay. You got him touching?
Yep.
Touching there. Touching 16, barely. Okay.
We just got to tell them you're going to have to flip him both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, we got time to cull that short fish.
Yeah, let's do it. We've only got 5, don't we?
Yeah. Well, that tree's ruined.
Ooh, live scope.
Oh. All right, let's
Maybe it was a color.
fuck it, might have been.
Is it a color or is it a bite window?
I think it's bite window, honestly.
You think?
Yeah, I do. I sure do. Let's go ahead and catch 2 more. We only need 1 more for a limit.
Right. And then we really need to get rid of that short one. And we've got an hour and a half.
16-incher.
You know what? I'm not even taking a risk. I'm putting a blue one on. You got them out?
I don't remember. I'd probably just set them right on top in here.
I'm not taking a chance at it in case it is a color thing. You know?
They'll definitely bite the blue for sure.
Yeah, that's what I hear. We ain't got enough time in the day for you to just be catching fish by yourself. And then at the end of the day, be like, you know what, I think it may have been.
Get that camera, would you? I forgot all about it.
You know what, it may have been something.
Well, that last pit fish puts us fish number 5 in this club here. It's a 6 fish limit, but we've got 5 pretty good fish. We feel pretty confident. Head back to the ramp. Unfortunately, I did not get the weigh-in on video because it flat came a storm. I didn't have any of my waterproof gear to get it on film, but the first fish we caught cost us 2nd place. That fish ended up dying. We had the weight for 2nd place, 1 pound dead fish penalty, put us in 3rd. We end up having, I'm wanting to say 13 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. 5 fish for 13. I can't remember. But anyway, 3rd place, pretty happy with that, especially since I would say 4 or 5 guys didn't catch a fish, and the bottom half of the field only caught 1 or 2 fish. So we did pretty good. I'm real happy with our strategy. We had a game plan going into this from previous years' knowledge. We stuck with it, and it really paid off. So I appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for upcoming videos. If you like this one, hit the like and subscribe button. Tell me what you'd like to see, And I did start my own bass club this year called Rodbusters Bass Club. If you're from the Southern Illinois area and you'd be interested in competing in that, we do have some open spots. Reach out to me. Look me up on Facebook, Dustin Ayers on Facebook, Amongst Them on Facebook. Send me a message, we'll get you in on it, but we're going to have a lot more videos of those tournaments coming up. Thanks for tuning in.